So, is the Nissan X-Trail's four drive system any good?
First, we need to understand how the four drive system of the Nissan X-Trail works. I did a video a while back, I'll put a link down in the description, but for the sake of this video, I'll briefly touch base on it. There's an auto mode and there's a lock mode. In auto mode, the X-Trail drives the front wheels until it senses a loss of traction, then it sends the power to the back wheels via an electronically controlled viscous coupling. There are a lot of videos on YouTube on how a viscous coupling works, so if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. The auto mode can be selected while driving and can be left engaged permanently, which is what I've been doing actually in my vehicle for quite a few years now. The lock mode locks the center differential or the viscous coupling, which means power will be sent to the rear wheels regardless if there is loss of traction on the front wheels. Unlike the auto mode, it is not recommended that you switch to the lock mode while the vehicle is in motion. The most important thing you need to know is that when you drive in lock mode, it will only work up to speeds of 40 kilometers an hour. Once you go over that speed, it will automatically disengage and switch you back to the auto mode. It is also worth noting that in full drive lock mode, the oil within the viscous coupling heats up faster than it is in the auto mode. Once the oil overheats, the system will automatically switch to two-wheel drive mode. You'll know when this happens because the full drive indicator light on the dashboard will start blinking. The only way to get it back in full drive mode is to stop driving and wait until the oil has cooled down. Just a quick announcement, guys, I've now enabled memberships in my channel. Hey, for a few bucks a month, it will really help me grow this channel, create more videos and create better quality videos for you guys. If you are interested in becoming a member and taking the extra step in supporting what I do, please feel free to click on the join button down below. I would be so grateful for your extra support. Thanks, guys. Now that we understand how the X-Trail's four drive system works, let's understand how a differential works. Let's start by diagonally driving over this ditch, and we'll drive it in two-wheel drive mode. Remember, the X-Trail is a front-wheel drive vehicle in two-wheel drive mode. What happened here is that one wheel lost traction and the vehicle has lost its forward momentum. If you're wondering why the other wheel that has traction stopped spinning, that is because the front differential is an open differential. And by design, all vehicles have what's called an open differential. And what it means is that when a vehicle makes a turn, the left and the right wheel will naturally spin at different speeds, being the outer wheel spins faster than the inner wheel to make the turn. The job of the differential is to allow that to happen, hence the name differential. Because of that design, the wheel that has less resistance will be the only driving wheel, and the other wheel that has traction will not spin at all. This is why there's such a thing called a locking differential in some off-road vehicles, because when this situation comes about, the driver or the full drive system itself will lock the differential and both the left and the right wheel will then spin at the same speed, which means that the vehicle would carry on its forward momentum. Some vehicles may be equipped with what's called a traction control system, and in which case the traction control system applies brakes on the spinning wheel, which is this wheel, thus forcing the other wheel to start spinning. Does the X-Trail have a locking differential? No. However, some models of the Renault Duster, which is mainly sold in Europe, shares the same drivetrain as the X-Trail. And some models of it have a rear LSD or locking or limited slip differential. I won't go into the detail about differentials and lockers and LSDs. I'll have a separate video for that. Okay, now that we understand how a differential works, let's do a little practical test. I'm now going to switch the driving mode to auto full drive. And remember, in auto mode, once the system detects a loss of traction from the front wheel, it will then send power to the back wheel. as expected, in full drive auto mode, as soon as the system detected a bit of loss of traction from the front wheel, it automatically sent power to the rear wheel that has the least amount of traction, which in which case is this wheel here. And as you can see in the video, it was pretty much instant. As soon as the front wheel started spinning, the back wheel started spinning as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in lock mode, but I can guarantee you we'll have the same exact result, because remember what I said, with the lock mode, all it does is it locks the center differential here in the middle, and it sends the power straight to the back wheels, regardless with whether there's a loss of traction in the front or not. But I'm expecting it to be exactly the same as this, because the auto mode, as I said, and as you've seen, instantly sends the power to the back wheel. As expected, in lock mode, it gave us the same exact result. It just locked the center diff, which pretty much what it's done in the auto mode, and sent the power back here. The full drive auto mode is so good that it instantly sends the power to the back wheels and does an excellent job in distributing power between the front and the back. As a matter of fact, I've never used the lock mode for a few years now, which means that all the off-road footages that you see in my channel in the last few years have all been done in full drive auto mode. If you follow my channel, you would know very well by now that I've driven this X-Trail through terrain that most people won't dare take their X-Trails through. I'll put a link in the description down the bottom. I have made a compilation of my off-road footages, the ultimate compilation, which runs about an hour, and I can say that in that entire video, probably at least 85% of it has been filmed when I had it in the auto mode. So, is the full drive lock mode useless or redundant? Well, I wouldn't say so, but what I can say to you is my real-world experience when using it. On a few occasions in the past, the full drive lock mode would easily overheat and would revert back to two-wheel drive mode. I would then be forced to stop driving, turn the vehicle off, wait until the oil in the viscous coupling would cool down, which would take, 10-15 minutes or so. Then I could engage full drive again. It was very inconvenient and just unacceptable. This is when I decided that from then on, I'll always keep it in auto mode when I'm out full driving. Then I quickly realized that I couldn't see or feel any difference at all. Since then, I never used lock mode and I never had any issues when out full driving in auto mode. The last test I'm going to show you is from an old clip I did when I was testing my bog out recovery equipment. I purposely got the X-Trail stuck with one wheel in the ditch with hardly any traction and one of the rear wheels up in the air with zero traction. I tied the bog out on the rear wheel that was up in the air, and that one driving wheel was enough to pull the entire vehicle out of the ditch. And yes, I was using full drive auto mode at the time. So, is the X-Trail's full drive system any good? For an all-wheel drive vehicle or a soft roader? Absolutely. Particularly for an all-wheel drive vehicle like the X-Trail, the center differential plays a major role. Some all-wheel drive vehicles' shortfalls is the center differential, as it doesn't continuously send power to the rear wheels when needed, thus causing the vehicle to get bogged. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you learned something about your X-Trail today. Please don't forget to like this video if you learned something. Comment down the bottom, it helps the algorithm as always. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one.